All right, so we have some Nebraska Offense on October 26, 2024. All right, this first look is going to be against cover 4, also known as quarters. There are different types of quarters, but the main premise is it's a scheme with zone principles. The defenders are looking for routes to go up, out, or in. Typically, the safety is going to look at what the number 2 receiver does, right? And the corner is typically going to look at what the number 1 receiver does. But there are some schemes where both these defenders are going to be key in number 2 first. If number 2 goes up, safety will match it, and then the corner is going to match number 1. If number 1 were to go in, then this guy would end up creating a cone on number 2 and play high and outside or low and outside of that receiver. So there's different variations. So quarters doesn't just mean one thing. That's why you need to study and understand the different types of quarters coverage. Okay, so there ends up being a 3 receiver set here with a tight end, nubs tight end set, meaning that there's no receiver outside the tight end, the running back's there. There ends up being a motion, so it influences the safety to the tight end side. Safety's flat-footed, looking for a run first. So it's a good play design from that standpoint because you see the safety flat-footed. The offense ends up having a route where the quarterback thinks that he's going to cross face of the safety. This guy ends up running a comeback route. It's a 2-man combination with the play action. It's good against quarters. You see where the quarterback throws the ball and what happens there. Let's take a look from the tight. This receiver starts to attack the toes of the safety, but then bends outside. The quarterback throws the ball in there. So miscommunication, you can see this comeback route. Really, when the quarterback looks at the film, he probably thinks should have thrown to this comeback because there's all this grass out here because this guy was influenced originally with the motion and had to play run first. Miscommunication, incomplete. All right, let's take a look at the next one here. Ends up being a cover 1 look. All right, where the safety is the post player in the middle. It's man-to-man underneath. Okay, in some of these schemes, you could end up having one of these underneath players play zone if they don't have anybody run a route. If their guy ends up staying in and blocking, they could end up playing zone and playing the hole or robbing. There's different terms for it, meaning the same thing. And they're going to be zoning off looking at the quarterback's eyes in some cover 1 situations. The weak spot of that is deep outside or routes that run away, finding your best matchup. So in this instance, these 2 outside receivers end up doing essentially a switch release. He ends up attacking the near shoulder of the nickel player, okay, or the slot defender. Since this guy is playing man everywhere he goes, he's going to collide with this nickel player, and then this guy's coming, pacing, slow off the ball, and essentially running a wheel route or a rail route, whatever your terms are in your offensive scheme. They end up dialing it up. It's a great scheme. You see how wide open it is. The quarterback just needs to play catch. I always tell quarterbacks, hit him in the eyes on these types of throws. We train where the quarterback has to find a receiver that's taken off at different angles, and we have to practice based off of their trajectory and their angle, the different types of throws that we would make. You just got to be able to lay it up in there. I mean, you schemed it up. You've done a great job of creating just a wide open look. And that's questionable. You could have been called for pass interference on the offense. It wasn't called. It's just wide open look, easy money, and we overthrow it. So got to train that type of stuff as a quarterback. Okay, the next look we're going to have is cover 0. Kind of see this pink shaded area. This is the open spot of cover 0 or any type of routes that run across. You'll see that there's routes that run across. In this look, everybody's below the hard deck line. The hard deck line is an imaginary line 10 yards deep. So kind of that area, kind of really where this yellow line is. It's 3rd and 10, so they got this yellow line for us, letting us know it's 10 yards deep. So that's really the hard deck line, and See, everybody's below that, right? So it's an indicator of pressure. They end up bringing a 6-man pressure. See all those bodies in there? Quarterback's really got to access this route. I mean, when you look at it, it's a lot easier said than done, but he's got to be able to ID this. He's got to be able to ID that there is pressure coming. So at least if you complete this ball, you get in a better position to be able to kick a field goal instead of taking a sack where it ends up becoming pretty dang impossible to kick a field goal. You see all these bodies that are up. You got really 6 defenders up at the line of scrimmage. You've got man technique over the top of your receivers, right? Boom, 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 boom. Man technique. My assumption is if the back were to leak out there, he would peel with them and use a blitz technique. Okay, if he were to go in, this guy would end up taking him, is my assumption. They don't have enough bodies. You should access this throw right here. This route is running away. This other route here, it's kind of stacked there, ends up running away. So the defense ends up hitting home. All right, next thing we're going to see is cover 3, where there's 3 deep. You got a corner playing deep third, middle safety playing deep third, this corner playing deep third. The look that we're going to see is going to show man pre-snap, except for one defender. I'll show you who that is. And they end up getting to these cover 3 areas, right? But they show man and they stem to cover 3. So that's where film study comes in, trying to find any indicators that might happen. Confirming coverage is huge. Being able to get your eyes through the middle of the field to kind of see, get a quick snapshot at the snap, what's happening is critical. So let me pause it here. Pre-snap, man. Looks like he's coming. Looks like man. This looks like zone there, right? When you look at how the feet of this corner are positioned, you got inside foot back here. You got the outside foot up. Hip angle is in towards the quarterback. Eyes are in towards the quarterback. So really showing zone on this side. So that could be our tell. Call that the person that gives it away, the donkey. All right, so this guy ends up buzzing out. This guy buzzes. This guy's playing the hook curl. And this safety ends up playing the hook curl from the tabletop. This safety ends up playing the deep middle third. This guy, and you can see his eyes inside, where pre-snap he was in the man technique. He plays deep third. Quarterback does a really good job of finding the open spot because this hook curl player who was lined up as a safety. Now he's really playing to be able to drive on anything. And quarterback ends up finding it and does a good job on a 3rd and 6 and gets the first down. Nice execution there. You can see it here unfold. They end up having just normal under front, under G front with the 2-eye technique there, 3 tech, 5 tech there, 5 tech there. They've got defenders walked up, so kind of like a mug type look. So indicator of pressure, indicator of cover 0 situation. But at the snap, reason why we look through the center of the field is you could start to see hips turn, zone technique, hips turn, zone technique. You're getting that confirmation at the snap, and you're essentially reading on move, ROM, reading on move. That's why it's so critical to get a pre-snap look and then a post-snap confirmation. And if you see bodies coming at you, people coming at you, that's when you're going to be able to find your QR throws, your quick rhythm throws, where in the prior 6-man pressure look, we saw that QR throw that was open that he needed to access. Doesn't end up being that situation, but he does come back to his route that just settles right in front of the hook curl player. Good design of a play. notice how he took his eyes to the field, then he snapped his eyes back to that little safety blanket there. That was a tight end. Okay, so defense ends up blocking it on this next play. So he's playing man-to-man there. He's playing man-to-man there. It ends up being a stack look. You see this, they're communicating. They're off different levels and they're locking. Okay, we've got a cover one look there. Man-to-man here. Okay, he's looking for this back. If he ends up peeling out. End up adding somebody to the rush. They do a switch release here with the stack. And they dial up a corner route, little scissors concept, and it opens right up. I mean, Ohio State had problems with passing routes off or switch routes. They dialed it up, just another scenario where he overthrows it. Okay, next look we're going to see is cover 0. We saw it earlier. They end up bringing pressure. Man indicator, he travels with them. Okay, at the snap, he ends up rushing. I like what the quarterback does here. He ends up continuing to drift, but still creates an anchor with this throw by having a firm left side, and I'll show you more what I'm talking about here. But he's just replacing coverage there. There's a blitzer. The receiver wins on the route, wins inside, and he ends up delivering. He's pedaling. He's keeping the shoulder firm, keeping his eyes up, letting the route happen. You see how firm he is with his left side here. He's got a stable left side so he can rotate around his spine and deliver an accurate throw. Head remains still. Pretty dang impressive throw. This is a true freshman. You know, you see some accuracy issues, but like that's a tough throw and that's a clutch throw. So just broke down a little bit from Nebraska's offense with Dylan Raiola. Thanks for watching.